Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? I hope you're well. Welcome back channel in this new video. Today's video is let's started. When someone gives you hot and cold treatment, it can be emotionally draining and confusing. One moment they may seem affectionate, caring, or even interested, and the next they become distant, uninterested, or even cold. This back-and-forth behavior is commonly known as hot and cold treatment and can create a lot of uncertainty and frustration in relationships. Whether it happens in romantic relationships, friendships, or even at work, understanding how to respond effectively to this type of treatment can help you maintain your emotional well-being and navigate the situation in a healthy way. Here are some steps to help you respond to hot and cold behavior and regain control over the situation. Recognize the pattern. The first step to effectively responding to hot and cold treatment is recognizing the pattern. People who give hot and cold treatment typically alternate between extremes. One moment they are warm, affectionate, or friendly, and the next they withdraw, become distant, or act indifferent. This back-and-forth behavior can cause emotional whiplash, leaving you unsure of where you stand with them. Recognizing this pattern allows you to detach emotionally and stop internalizing the mixed signals. When you understand that this behavior is a cycle, it becomes easier to deal with it in a more measured and thoughtful way. You may notice certain triggers, such as stress or external circumstances, that contribute to the hot and cold treatment. Or it might simply be a personality trait of the person in question. Don't take it personally. One of the biggest challenges when dealing with hot and cold treatment is the tendency to take it personally. When someone pulls away or acts cold, it's easy to assume that they no longer care about you, or that you did something wrong. This emotional reaction can lead you to chase after them, try to win back their attention, or feel anxious and uncertain. However, it's important to recognize that hot and cold behavior is often more about the person giving it than about you. They might have their own issues, insecurities, or emotional needs that are affecting their behavior. It's possible they are emotionally unavailable or have difficulty with consistency in their relationships. By not taking the behavior personally, you can distance yourself from the emotional ups and downs and protect your own sense of self-worth. Establish boundaries. A key to responding to hot and cold treatment is setting and maintaining boundaries. When you experience this behavior, it's easy to let the other person's actions dictate how you feel or behave. However, allowing them to have this control over your emotions is unhealthy for both you and the relationship. Establishing clear boundaries allows you to take control of the situation and protect yourself emotionally. If you are consistently getting mixed signals, it's important to communicate your boundaries. Let the other person know that you are not comfortable with their inconsistent behavior and that it's not okay to treat you in such a way. If they continue to give you hot and cold treatment despite your boundaries, you may need to reconsider the relationship or distance yourself in order to preserve your own emotional health. Don't chase or overcompensate. When faced with hot and cold behavior, it's common to try to chase after the person, overcompensate for their coldness, or bend over backward to regain their warmth and attention. This can manifest as sending multiple messages, apologizing unnecessarily, or doing anything to win their affection or approval. However, chasing after someone who is giving you mixed signals often leads to more frustration and confusion. Instead of chasing after them or overcompensating, focus on your own needs and emotions. Allow the person to come to you when they are ready, and don't let their inconsistency affect your sense of worth. By refraining from chasing or overcompensating, you show that you are confident in yourself and are not dependent on their attention for validation. Communicate openly and honestly. Clear communication is one of the best ways to address hot and cold treatment. If you're comfortable with it, Try to have an open and honest conversation with the person about their behavior. Let them know how their inconsistent actions make you feel and ask for clarity on where you stand in the relationship. While the conversation may be uncomfortable, it's important to express your feelings and seek understanding. You may discover that there are external factors influencing their behavior, or they might not even be aware of how their actions are affecting you. However, if the person is unwilling to communicate or address the issue, it might be a sign that they are not as invested in the relationship as you are. When someone gives you hot and cold treatment, it's easy to become consumed by the situation. You might find yourself constantly wondering why they are behaving that way, analyzing every interaction, or trying to fix the relationship. While it's natural to want clarity and stability, it's important not to lose sight of your own needs and well-being. Take time to focus on yourself. Engage in activities that bring you joy, work on personal goals, or spend time with friends and family who support you. By prioritizing yourself, you can maintain a sense of stability and emotional balance. Evaluate the relationship. Sometimes hot and cold treatment can be a sign of deeper issues in the relationship. If you find that the person is repeatedly giving you mixed signals and showing little regard for your feelings, it might be time to evaluate the relationship. Consider whether this behavior is a pattern, and if it's something you are willing to accept in the long term. In some cases, the relationship may not be worth continuing, especially if the person is not willing to change their behavior or communicate openly. In such situations, it may be necessary to distance yourself or even end the relationship in order to protect your emotional health and well-being. Recognize the role of manipulation. In some cases, hot and cold behavior is a form of manipulation. This type of treatment can be used to control or test your emotions, creating uncertainty and making you more dependent on the person's approval. If you suspect that manipulation is at play, it's important to recognize the tactics being used and take steps to protect yourself. Manipulative behavior often involves alternating between affection and indifference in order to keep you on edge. The person may use this tactic to get attention, reassurance, or validation from you, without having to offer anything in return. If you notice this pattern, it's important to set clear boundaries, communicate your needs, and be willing to walk away if the behavior continues. Avoid being overly reactive. When dealing with hot and cold treatment, it's important not to react impulsively or emotionally to every shift in behavior. Reacting too strongly to their coldness can feed into the cycle and reinforce the power imbalance in the relationship. On the other hand, overreacting to their warmth can cause you to overlook red flags and make excuses for their inconsistent behavior. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back and assess the situation. Recognize that their hot and cold behavior may be a reflection of their own issues, not yours. This perspective allows you to respond more thoughtfully without being overly influenced by their inconsistent actions. Know when to let go. In some cases, the best way to respond to hot and cold treatment is to let go of the relationship entirely. If the person continues to treat you inconsistently, shows little regard for your feelings, or is unwilling to change their behavior, it may be a sign that the relationship is no longer healthy or fulfilling. Letting go can be difficult, especially if you have invested time and energy into the relationship. But it's important to remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and consistency. Letting go doesn't mean you have to harbor resentment or negativity. Instead, it's about recognizing that the relationship is no longer serving you and choosing to move on in order to prioritize your own emotional well-being. Trust your instincts. Ultimately, when responding to hot and cold treatment, trust your instincts. You know yourself and your emotional needs better than anyone else. If something doesn't feel right, or if you're constantly on an emotional roller coaster, it's okay to take a step back and reevaluate the relationship. Trusting your intuition can help you make decisions that are in your best interest and lead to healthier, more stable relationships. Conclusion. Responding to hot and cold treatment can be challenging, but by recognizing the pattern, setting boundaries, focusing on yourself, and communicating openly, you can regain control over the situation and protect your emotional well-being. Remember that hot and cold behavior is often a reflection of the other person's issues, not a reflection of your worth. By approaching the situation with clarity and confidence, you can make decisions that support your own emotional health and lead to healthier, more fulfilling relationships.